Good morning, everyone. Let's have a look, see if there's anything due to occur today, anything special or not, basically. Again, the market seems to be just trending up again at the moment, and I expect that that's where it's going to go. We do have some stuff coming out towards the end of the month, the core CPI and all that stuff. These things will have some kind of effect on the markets, good, bad, ugly, whatever. But for the moment, let's just look at the day-to-day. So yesterday we had a nice move up towards the top of the range, didn't we, for Bitcoin? So it didn't hit the exact top, but we're mostly above all moving averages. We're coming back down again. Again, range bound here before. Now I expect to be range bound in this range here. So the low range being 112, upper range being 117. When it comes to momentum and money flow on this 4 hourly, it's not weak. It's generally trending with price action. So that's healthy. So higher highs, higher lows, back up to the top. 117,000 seems like the obvious thing to do. We've got the single drive regular bullish divergence on the money flow index here, which is very nice. And again, above all moving averages. Yeah, I'm a bit croaky. I'm pretty confident that I've got a cold either coming on or maybe it's reached its peak, but hopefully this is as far as it goes. But yeah, a little under the weather at the moment. We're above all moving averages as said. So the daily, the 4 hourly looks quite good without any real reason to doubt continuation. Moving over to the weekly, again we had the two drives hidden bullish divergence, which potentially marks a low off. So it might not be the case, but if it is, this helps to, I guess, give an idea that maybe a major low is in. If it isn't in here, then this area down here would be absolutely amazing. As we've said loads of times before, bang 50, bang 50, bang 50. It's also the 10 exponential on the monthly as well. But again, I show you these things all the time. I don't want to bore you to death. So there's evidence that the low is in. There's clearly a trend in play. We've not golden crossed or anything like that on the 4 hourlies. That'll take a few more days and a little higher price. So Bitcoin generally looks like it wants to be range bound. Simple as that. And Ethereum similar. Ethereum is above most moving averages that count for anything. We're above the symmetrical triangle, which broke out roughly 70% of the way through, which is a good idea because you want to see continuation if it break out before the apex. And we've done that. We look like we've tried to retest the lows, which is the Bollinger Band Center, or the 21 exponential. We'll zoom right in. You can see the 21 on the 4 hourly got tagged. That's where we're bouncing from. We're getting rejected on the 10 now, so fine. So long as we're above this area, this $4,000 zone, this is a technical breakout. You can get a retest of the symmetrical triangle to see if it's flipped as into support, and we're pretty confident with all of that we'll keep going up. So at the moment, generally looks quite good. The 21 exponential is also the top of that range, and the 20 moving average is 4,000. So we don't want to see anything lower than 4,000. Remember, this symmetrical triangle that we've got here is really just a reference of the 10 exponential and the 20 moving average on the weekly. There's your 10 exponential, there's your 20 moving average. That's where we got the trend lines from. And again, so we just stretched those out in anticipation for what they're going to look like, and turned out that it looked pretty neat and tidy when you see the trend line in there. So that's fine. We'll go with it for what it's worth. We're going to go with it. Quick look at XRP. Weaker than than those other boys. Relatively hot over here. Bit of bearish divergence on this latest stage. Moved it up. 200 simple moving average acting as resistance on the 4 hourly. So probably the right thing to expect would be a pullback, back down to $2.52. It doesn't have to happen, but that's probably what I would expect based on what we're looking at right now. And again, I'm not sold on the idea of this. I'm just holding all my XRP anyway. I'm not buying and selling this stuff. It's it's just one huge whopping hodl, believe me. And we're looking for this one to generally work its way back up. One drive regular bullish divergence marker off the low. A lot of altcoins have got that as well, by the way. So with all that said, it's much the same. I don't need to take up too much of your time. Stocks getting one drive bearish divergence now, unfortunately. Gold sort of plummeting, which is unfortunate, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's likely to get picked back up, probably around the 3,800-ish kind of area. Gold may or may not have peaked, but it's absolutely fine to expect a pullback on gold. I mean, it's absolutely normal. Moving over to the monthly, you don't have any bearish divergence on this. You just have a nice big fat wick. So there's one other thing to think about as well when you're looking at gold, Bitcoin, stocks, all of that lot. And we talk about it all the time, and it's this, right? This is your Dixie, this is your dollar index, this is a monthly chart dollar index, okay? So when the model fits, go with the model that fits. You're trending ups, big downs, big ups, big downs, come down to the trend line. So here, bang, down to the trend line, bang, down to the trend line. So obviously it would be great if it were to break, and there's always the chance that it will. But until it does break, the most obvious move on the dollar is going to be up. So if you have, doubled your money on gold, or quadrupled your money on Bitcoin, or 10 times your money on something else, and you look at this chart and you go, you know what, I'm not a big fan of holding dollars for the most part. They don't do anything. But actually in this case, they would likely do something. They would likely move up to the top of the trend line. So actually dollars are a small trade in themselves. So you bought the trend line, you moved back up over a couple of years. You're talking over a 20% move anyway from the bottom to the top. So yeah, sitting in dollars isn't a bad idea based on this setup on its own. You look at something like this and say, well, this is one of those big massive swings that you get once every 5 years. It takes place once every 5 years, lasts for about a year and a half. So, okay, the model fits. Okay, I've made a load of money on gold, made a load of money on this, made a load of money on that. Alright, fine, I'll hold some dollars. Okay, fine. Yeah, what's 20%? What's 27% or whatever it measured out at? That's a trade, isn't it? Better than going down, isn't it? So a lot of people will see that and go, well, actually, that's a trade. So, yeah, dollars aren't remaining static. Dollars are a trade. So yes, if you're seeing gold selling off and you're wondering why, it's because gold is at a peak and the dollar is at a low. If over a long enough time frame, there's a trade there, isn't there? But again, that's just what I'm saying because I'm seeing that. I'm not saying that because that's the definite, absolute truth. I'm not one of those YouTubers that say, this is the only way. Listen to what I say. Only I get it right. No, it's just, this is one of those setups, isn't it? Like, this is at a peak, this is at a low. Makes sense to move from the one at a peak to the one at a low. I'm not saying it's a millionaire starter kit type of trade. It's a safety position. It also makes sense to do it, and your exit point would likely be in about a year to 18 months, back into whatever. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's useful in some way. I'm not suggesting you sell everything, go into the dollars. I'm just telling you that if you're wondering why something like gold is selling at a high like that, it might be to do with the fact that the dollar is at a low. Exchange your gold to your dollar, and then exchange your dollar to your gold later on. Seems like an alright idea to me. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.